It's about all the people who are paying a price because of a broken immigration system. All the communities that are taking immigration enforcement into their own hands. All the neighborhoods that are seeing rising tensions as citizens are pitted against new immigrants. The American people need us to put an end to the petty partisanship that passes for politics in Washington. And they need us to enact comprehensive immigration reform once and for all. They need not, we can't wait 20 years from now to do it. We can't wait 10 years from now to do it. We need to do it by the end of my first term as President of the United States of America. And I will make it a top priority in my first year as President, not only because we have an obligation to secure our borders and get control of who comes in and out of our country, not only because we have to crack down on employers who are abusing undocumented immigrants instead of hiring citizens, but because we have to finally bring undocumented immigrants out of the shadows. It is time we did that. And finally, enact comprehensive immigration reform. Now, I know Senator McCain used to buck his party on immigration by fighting for comprehensive reform, and I admired him for it and joined him in it. But when he was running for his party's nomination, he abandoned that courageous stance and said that he wouldn't even support his own legislation if it came up for a vote. I don't know about you, but I think it's time for a president who won't walk away from something as important as comprehensive reform just because it becomes politically unpopular. That's the commitment I'm making to you. I marched with you in the streets of Chicago. I fought for you in the Senate, and I will make it a top priority in my first year as President of the United States of America. Not just because we need to secure our borders and get control of who comes in to this country, not just because we have to crack down on employers who are abusing undocumented immigrants, but because we have to finally bring those 12 million people out of the shadows and give them a pathway.
On day one, I'm going to send a legislative immigration reform bill to Congress to provide a roadmap to citizenship for 11 million undocumented immigrants who contribute so much to this country.
The Obama administration did fail to deliver immigration reform, which had been a key promise during the administration. It also presided over record deportations as well as family detentions at the border before changing course. So why should voters trust you with an immigration overhaul now?
Because we made a mistake. It took too long to get it right. It took too long to get it right. I'll be president of the United States, not vice president of the United States. And the fact is, I've made it very clear. Within 100 days, I'm going to send to the United States Congress a pathway to citizenship for over 11 million undocumented people. And all of those so-called dreamers, those DACA kids, they're going to be immediately certified again to be able to stay in this country and put on a path to citizenship.
citizenship? Are we fighting for a pathway to citizenship?
My name is Anu, and I'm with the New York Immigration Coalition. And I just marched 11 miles in support of finally giving a road to citizenship for the 11 million undocumented Americans in the United States. For too long, Democrats have made promises about what they will deliver for the immigrant community. Our Senator Schumer, has made us promises, and he has not delivered. And so we felt like we had to do this march to bring attention, to bring awareness, but most importantly, to tell Senator Schumer that we demand that he deliver on his promise and that he deliver a roadmap to citizenship for all 11 million undocumented immigrants. What we know is that immigrants in many states last November and in January were the margin of victory. And when President Biden and Vice President Harris went out on the campaign trail, they made a lot of promises to the immigrant community about what they would do when they were in office. They said that they would do more than just reverse the racist anti-immigrant policies of the Trump administration, but that they would actually serve the needs of our diverse immigrant communities. And so far, we have not seen them deliver on that promise. And so, you know, this is a clear message to President Biden, to Vice President Harris, that simply undoing some of the racist Trump policies is not enough. We expect more from a president who says that they share our values, that they value immigrants, that they value immigrant life. And in a country where immigrants served on the front lines during the COVID pandemic, where literally kept this country running at great risk to themselves and to their families, leaving their homes to clean our hospitals, serve our, pick our food, stock our grocery stores, serve as doctors and nurses during the height of the pandemic, to now turn to them and say, you are essential, but you are deportable, is incredibly tragic and wrong. And so we're here to say that that can't keep going. You can find out more information about the NYIC on our Twitter page, or on Facebook, or on Instagram, and it's all the NYIC is our handles.
We have next up a speaker from the Arab American Association of New York. She is a youth activist with them, so she represents the future. So we are so excited to have her. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. Her name is Jackie Ramirez Castillo. She is a high school student and a youth activist from Flatbush, Brooklyn, so right at home. She is the proud daughter of Mexican immigrants and a fierce activist already for immigrant rights. Not just for undocumented New Yorkers, but for everyone. We want to bring her up here. Come on up here, Jackie.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jackie Ramirez Castillo, and I'm a high school student. I'm also a member of the Arab American Association of New York's Brooklyn Arab Youth Program. And I want to thank you all for being here today and coming to witness what so many different groups from different backgrounds, religions, cultures have been advocating and fighting for. I am a proud daughter and sister of Mexican immigrants who risked everything to come to this country to build a better life, and who risked their lives every day as essential workers throughout the pandemic. The purpose of us being here today is to demand Democrats to finally fulfill the promises and pass comprehensive immigration reform. For the past year, there's no question essential workers have impacted every part of our lives across America. Essential workers have worked tirelessly to ensure that our communities had what they needed and risked their own lives to do so. They made sure that food was on our tables, made sure schools were clean and public transportation were also clean and ready to use for us, all for the safety of our city, our community, and our country. 11 million immigrants living in the United States are undocumented and have a status that jeopardizes their health, safety, and dignity. For years, empty promises like the parole option have been made. But this provides only a token effort for long-term protection and security for the 11 million undocumented immigrants who call the United States home. Speaker Pelosi and Senate Majority Leader Schumer, Democrats in Congress, many others, still have a chance to provide long-term protections for families like mine and many others. This year, by advancing a solution that would allow millions of families a pathway to citizenship and a chance to live and work without fear of deportation. We all know that people can't be essential and deportable. Woo!
We've come too far to compromise on the vision that got us here today. All of us have been involved in multiple actions for a number of weeks and months because we believe that our time is now for citizenship. So what do we want? All right, we are keeping the pressure on, and it's because of all of you. And you don't give up, and we are never going to give up until our families get a pathway to citizenship. So a pathway to citizenship is a pathway to stability, safety, and opportunity, and we know this. That's why we're not going to stop fighting. So we know that it means that we don't have to plan our lives in increments, fearing the date we might be separated from our families. It also means that we can finally begin to plan for our family's future for the very first time. We might even be able to acquire stable jobs that pay a living wage, and for the first time, not live in fear of deportation. But now, because our elected officials do not have the courage, these dreams remain in limbo. Despite keeping the lights on for this city, for keeping this country afloat during the COVID-19 pandemic, we as immigrants still are at the back of the line. And we cannot allow that to continue. So that's why we are asking Senator Schumer to actually stand up and demand a pathway to citizenship. Because we can make it happen. So we want courage, we want commitment to the frontline workers who kept this city going throughout the pandemic when a lot of us were working from home. They couldn't do that. They couldn't sit in a nice heated apartment behind a computer. They were out there making sure this city ran. And now it is time to pay up. It is time for this country to pay up. After a full day of marching and shouting and crying for the fact that we still do not have citizenship after 35 years, we are here as a family to say we need citizenship, Senator Schumer, and we need it now. My name is Teresa, and I'm with the New York Immigration Coalition. And the truth is, this is a very overwhelming moment to see all of our friends and partners here with us today. I want to give a huge shout out to all of you who've marched, and so I'm going to just start calling out some organizational names. Want to say thank you to Make the Road New York. Thank you to the Center for Popular Democracy. Thank you to New Immigrant Community Empowerment. Shout out to NICE because this is day 11. being out there every single night. So thank you, NICE. And there's going to be a finale. Am I right? Tomorrow. 2 p.m. So I hope all of you can come back to Times Square tomorrow at 2 p.m. So I also want to give a big shout out to Adhikar. Women's empowerment.
11 millas para 11 millones. En uno de los 11 millones.
To my wonderful friends at Mequon Center for Community. Where would we be without faith in New York? I'm trying to see if there's anyone else that I am neglecting, but oh my goodness. The Arab American Association of New York! So folks, just wanted to say that if there is someone else, please shout out your name, because I do not want to forget anybody. Oh my God! Beginning back at 9 a.m. this morning in the rain, African communities together. I also want to thank our partners and in Staten Island. They came from Staten Island, La Comena, and El Centro. Is a 5-borough mission, and we are here again to say to Senator Schumer, we need a pathway to citizenship, and we need one now. Do we want to hear excuses? No. I also want to give a big shout out to Nakasek as well. Thank you so much. Everyone that volunteered and came independently of a group, you all mean so much. And I just want to say a big shout out to the New York Immigration Coalition team for also just really holding it down today. So thank you guys.
You know where we are.
It was rainy and cold, y'all. Am I right? But we still marched, and we are not going to give up, because nothing is going to keep us from making sure that there's a pathway to citizenship, making sure that our families and communities are taken care of. So thank you all so much, and we hope to see you at the next action. Have a wonderful night, everybody.